glad to have here one of our alumni. Daniel Chocron was a Atlantis University student. He graduated like 2017. So it's my pleasure to have him back because we wanted to bring alumni to share his or her experiences through after they left Atlantis. So we're going to be bringing people that have those experiences. And I like beer. So then, in his case, his business is close to my home. So I have been there many times. So him and I connected many times. He does an incredible product. So what we decided to do, Daniel and I, was to bring him here to share some of his experiences. So we also did a podcast that we're going to share, that Ranibal was going to share with you. And this podcast in itself is a class because he's going to be talking, he talked about supply chain, finance, payroll, HR, technology, product, vendors, partners, everything, distribution channels. So it's really and I even suggest we have an assignment for you about the podcast. And as usual, we give you some challenges for you. But let's see how it goes. So Daniel, welcome. So it's a great opportunity to have you here. Thanks for your availability. Daniel Chocron is the co-founder and the CEO of Tripping Animal Brewery, and they have a phenomenal kind of product. So we wanted to start, let me just put this here. Anybody have one microphone or just two or one? Let's see what I find this. So what we're going to do is that I want to start asking him to start sharing his experience. We had a presentation before, but we thought that the presentation would just defeat the purpose of this conversation. So we decided to just have, and you're going to be able to ask questions about his experience, how Atlantis University helped him, and those kind of things. So I want to start, Daniel, tell us a little bit about yourself, how the journey started, how the idea of a beer company came to be, and a little bit about your adventure or your challenge, your opportunity since this time started.
First of all, hello everyone. Thank you for inviting me here. It has been, I say, February 2017-18, and honestly, the university have changed a lot. I used to study also in the old campus, so I'm really happy that how everything has been here. So a little bit of what we talk. So Tripping Animals Brewing, it has been open for 4 years, but at the same time, we have been in this, trying to create this business for over 7-8 years. So it took us 1 year to find a place here in Miami, 2 years to be able to build it, get through permits, get through fundraise money, business plan, a little bit of everything, and then we have been 4 years open. Before that, how everything started. So I was in my university in Venezuela, and I found a craft beer course at the the computer. I went there, I did it, and we brewed our first beer in the course, and yeah, we got drunk, it was fun. And after that, we ordered a kit from here, from USA, we got it, and we brewed our first beer in Venezuela. And people like it, we did a second one, we did a third one, fourth one, and we decided to start selling our product in Venezuela. And on year 3, around there, we started with the idea of, looking somewhere to, Venezuela with all the problems that it had, and looking for a place that we could build something that it will last and grow in the future. And we decided to come here to Miami to open the brewery.
So one thing I wanted to explore is like this. A lot of us, or many of you probably, want to be entrepreneurs. A lot of people dream to have their own business, right? As a challenge or an opportunity or a dream or a goal, whatever you call it. So I wanted you to share with us, Daniel, what exactly does it take to be an entrepreneur? The plus and minus, right?
So the bigger thing I think is one is consistency. As I mentioned, I've been in this project for a long time. I think the other one is taking risks. When we did this, we didn't know what we were getting into it. I was just mentioning, with the first time we got the keys for the warehouse, it's 15,000 square feet. We opened that, and it's like, fuck, okay, this is real. What are we gonna do now? And we had a plan, and honestly, if you check our business plan to what we did, it's nothing alike. But it helped us to, to convince our families to trust in us. So we're happy about it. So I think taking risks and passion and consistency are the 3 main things that you wanna you want to have to be able to fulfill your project. And it becomes, even though our long hours and a lot of work, you are doing it and you love it and you're doing it for yourself.
Yes, something that we talk about in the podcast, and we'll share with you the podcast as soon as Nico releases it. And it's a class. The podcast, it covers like supply chain, payroll, as I said before. So watching that podcast, you see the complexity and the synergistic approach to manage a business, which you have to integrate, and you have to also make 1 + 1 = 3, which is hard, right? So, and that's something that I wanted to explore with us. Tell us a little bit besides the biz, and obviously you look at the warehouse, all these 15,000 square foot, a little empty with a couple offices and say, oh my God, I have this thing to pay now and make sure it works. But tell us specifically some of the challenges that we have, maybe with vendors or maybe with the distribution channels. And also I wanted to mention something that we discussed about COVID, because COVID was also an interesting situation. A lot of people say that in Chinese challenge is also an opportunity, but they pivot on the COVID and make the business better. So tell us a little about not just the COVID, but some of the challenges specifically and also COVID.
So one of the biggest challenges, honestly, we are 4 families that we got together for this project, and to get a place, to get a lease here, we don't have credit, we don't have social, we don't have anything. So that's understanding how the system, how everything worked here was confusing, and it took us time and that was quite a big challenge. The second thing was all the part about the permits. So I was mentioning one day I got a call from their department that if I don't give them this paper of how much water I'm going to be throwing down the drain, the pump that they have allocated for the area is going to be maxed out and they have to build a new one, and my project will go through the drain if I don't give them that paper. So it was a lot of challenge that we didn't know we were going to have, and then it was just one problem, one solution, one obstacle, one solution. Another big problem we had was, for example, parking lot. So when you're building a brewery, you need a manufacturer zoning. But we wanted to have a bar too. So we have a bar, we have music, we got food, we got a beer garden, pool tables. For that, you need a commercial use. And for the brewery, you need an industrial use. So we need to do a change of use. Change of use, it was easier to make it from industrial to commercial than from commercial to industrial. So, for example, just problems that we had is that we needed more parking lot. We have 24 parking spaces, and you have a place that can fit 200 people. So we knew that we needed more parking, but the process the city makes you get those more parkings, it took us 3 months. And those 3 months and 3 months that you're paying rent, that you cannot even start construction, because if you don't have zoning approval, you cannot keep going to building the park. Apart from those challenges, and then talking a little bit about the COVID. So COVID was a very hard moment, and I think for everyone, and everyone had different things happening during that time. And the first time we have to close, we stopped making beer, and it was a week of brainstorming and see what we're going to do. Thankfully, we had a really nice community that support us, and we started doing to-go, and people start lining up to get our beer. And that gave us a lot of motivation. You know what, we're doing something good, let's keep doing. So we go back to brewing, we start making more beer. And then, we follow everything that was the law. You can only drink outside, we open outside. You can only do inside, 50%. So we adjust and we keep working just to be able, and thanks to our community, it was great. And then the second thing that happened is, with all these bar closings, we needed more place. The bar was great, the to-go was great, but we needed more places too. So we start canning our beer, we start packaging, and we start distributing our beer. So now we are in 22 states around USA. Most of them are craft beer centric market for us. So yeah, we send beer to California, but it will be, 30, 40 bars that are craft beer centric, craft beer market, craft beer restaurants, because our product are producing the high tier, high quality ingredients. So we try to focus on the craft beer niche. And we also have our core beers that are easy to drink, that are more for bigger markets that now we're starting to grow.
Yeah. So see, guys, these are another good pivoting challenge, right? And make the challenge become way to grow the business. Now it seems easy, but at the time probably it was hard. So everything when you read in the books, etc., everything is simple, but then not so simple, right? So tell us about another thing, for example, that I always ask is, you were an MBA student, right? So you graduated from Atlantis, so you did all the classes, supply chain, finance, etc. Tell us how the university learning helped you navigating this complex environment.
So I think one of the biggest things that university gives you, the fact that, in my case, I was running this project and going to school for the MBA, is that, I did my university in business in Venezuela. I wasn't working at the time. So you don't get to apply anything that you are, and it's mostly go to class, pass the test, great, keep going. In this case, I was really studying and working at the same time, so I was able to put whatever I was reading or learning that day into the business, so I could go back, talk to my partners, hey, we're checking this, and we'll talk about supply chains, we'll talk about profit, loss, whatever, and it's just really nice to have that fresh information at the same time you're doing your project. Apart from that, I did, most of the work, every assignment that I will get, I will do it about tripping animals. And then, all the other students that are with me, they will give us ideas for tripping animals. So for me, it was marketing, it was networking, it was new ideas, it was fresh ideas. And then you have the professors checking onto these projects that they're making us do. So now I get my idea even solid, and we apply some of the things that we create here in different classes. And I think the other one is, the networking. I still have my group with all the people that I used to study, and we talk here and there, and some business have come just because, they open a bar, they want beer, or they need consult about the draft system or whatever, and I go and I do it.
Yeah, something I wanted to comment is that a lot of people think that the academic period is just like a conceptual or theoretical stuff, but reality is that things are built on those concepts. So the lack of focus or academic performance will impact your professional life, one way or another, right? So that's, I think, is something that I learned from him, from his, when we did the podcast, is how valuable was the assignments or the study on supply chain, logistics, human resources, finance, accounting, etc., marketing, digital marketing, IT, things that you learn and you take it for granted, like, oh, just like you said, you do the test to pass.
Yeah.
But now you have to do the test to use. So it's a big different ball game. So one question before I open for questions from the audience is, what about talent? In Miami, we have this challenge of hiring people, bringing high quality people. One of the things you mentioned to me was the consistency, the synergistic approach of your business, the integration among different constituents of the supply chain, the value chain. So how do you see the search and the need for talent? Can you find it? It's easy to find? It's hard? Super hard? How is that?
So, we're 20 people now at the company. We have the human legal accounting department, we have marketing, production, and sales. And honestly, the biggest, thankfully we have created a team that is amazing. And I'm proud to be working with all of them and learning from them and learning together and growing together. One of the biggest challenges, for example, here in Miami have been the production team, in the sense of, Miami compared to a city like Colorado, like a state like California. In Florida we have about 150 breweries at this moment. When we opened, it was only about 110. So there's not too many people that knew how to operate brewing equipment. When you go to a city like Colorado, that you got 500, 600 breweries, one in every corner, it's more easy to find people that already know how to brew beer, how to transfer a beer, how to treat it, how to be creative, how to keep consistency. So I think that was one of the biggest challenges, to create a production team that is solid. And I think right now we have a really good one that not only keeps consistency and high quality, but also likes to create products. We do about 14 different beers every month. Last year we did about 250 different beers. So it's a constant creative process. And I think the talent, that has been like the biggest challenge, but thankfully Most of the people that we have hired have been by reference, and we know them by the industry and the food, and we know it in a more little personal way than just the paper. It's a small industry, so it's kind of easy to know what we're looking and what we want in a sense.
Yeah, so I wanted to also make a comment on this because I'm a director of creative services, and what you just mentioned about the networking and the references. The world is not as big as you think. It's smaller than you think. So the people that you know are the ones that are going to hire you, the ones that are going to bring you, they're going to recommend you. So if you think that if you don't network, if you just do your own thing, you're really going wrong. So you need to connect with people, because at the end of the day, we hire, Daniel and I were talking about that, you hire the people that you like, that you connect, that you really work well. You don't hire anybody else, right? So, and if you don't have the right people, even if you work by yourself, you have the wrong customer or the wrong partner or the wrong employee, you're in big trouble. So you have to build this thing in the university, your network, your LinkedIn, your profile, your engagement with different people, your participation in industry associations, etc. All will make a difference when you go in, because very quickly you'll finish your university, and your university career, or at least at this moment, will be done, and you're going to go to the real world to apply those concepts. So, Daniel, before I open to the questions, any other comment?
No, I think, no, we can go into questions. The bigger thing is, if you have a project that you believe, give it a shot. Losing, you need to fail to overcome. So just don't be afraid to take that risk and just go ahead, and they're going to be challenged. And if you are consistent and you are passionate about what you're going to do, you're probably going to do it right and succeed.
Fantastic. So, I don't know if you have the audience. I can move this thing to the audience. So I want to open to questions. Please, Professor Buchanan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Buchanan. I teach in this program. This is interesting. First of all, I want to congratulate you. This is where the rubber meets the road, where we go from theory to practice. And I'm glad you made it. It's a big gap of golf. And so, because of that, I applaud you.
Appreciate it.
Many of us know how to be practitioners. We're good at theory, and we get that. But moving it from a sketch, something that you can imagine, something that you can see, to making it real and tangible, is, to my mind, is very commendable. I know you had a lot of challenges along the way, I imagine. Tell me about the challenge of funding. How you go from having a concept, having an idea, and then translating it to something that is three-dimensional, real, worldly, and is practicable, and that it works.
So when we were doing the funding, it was at the moment, at the beginning, it was a 1.5 mil project that we were recreating, and we were four. So basically, when I decide to go this, I do kind of like a small business plan, put everything on paper. I got cousins, uncles, family reviewing, going back and forward, until I've had something that kind of nice. And then one of the partners that was with me at the brewery in Venezuela, I call him and say like, hey, talk to your family. And then I got another friend that is one of the friends that I started drinking beer with him in England when I was studying English. That it was the first time I really tried like an ale beer, because in Venezuela it was only lagers, and I didn't have an idea about an IPA, a hoppy, a stout, or nothing. And he did a beer course of making beer. I knew he was feeding marketing. And I knew he had a really good eye for marketing. So he was, for us. And then when we started doing that, like the way we set it up, we say, you know what, it's going to be 4 groups. And out of those 4 groups, we're going to have 4 responsibles that are the 4 operating partners right now. And they got to go there and get the money, in a way. So they go and they, grandpa, uncle. So what we say is like, if it goes wrong, our family's not going to love us, and we will be eating ourselves. So they go and, talk to the grandpa, talk to the uncle, talk to the brother. And everyone in different ways had different opportunities and different reach. And we all build Like right now, the way the company is operating is an LLC, and then we got 4 S corps, and each S corp have it represented, and then that represents a group. There are groups that are smaller, only the person and maybe the dad and the brother, and then maybe there are groups that is the uncle, the grandpa. So that's the way we create the funding. And there's people that grab loans, because at the end the biggest thing about immigrating here is that there is no SBA, there is nothing of that. So we just find a way to do it, and with people that we trust and that believe in us. That was kind of and it took time. It wasn't easy to, a lot of meetings, go back and forward, and someone will say no, someone will say yes. But I think the biggest thing is that I like how it's hard to have 4 operating partners at the same time, because sometimes making a decision could take longer. But at the same time, you got 4 people that love, and they're going to put everything to make the project the best thing. So I'm really happy it came out this way, because we were able to create with what we have with the team that we have.
Excellent.
So next question. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, great story. Congratulations. Where do you want to go? Where do you want it to grow to? What do you see it being in 5 years, 10 years?
That's a hard one. No, so basically what we are trying to shoot for, at the end, if we feel like if we don't grow, we die. So every year for us, we gotta grow in somehow, either production numbers, sales numbers. Our goal, honestly, is to open more micro breweries, so across the state and USA, and then have a main facility that could sell beer to all those places. So that's kind of not a fully a franchise model. It's mostly about us growing, because we could, make a huge plan and sell beer to every establishment, and then you're competing against Bud, Heineken, and you're competing against, small margins, great production, big money up front. So, at the end, when you sell the beer through a bar, the margins are 5-6 times more than when you sell it to distribution. So if we manage to create more bars, and then also have our production and supply all those bars, that's kind of the model that we want to generate. And so it will be that. Hopefully in 5 years we can have maybe 6-7 locations, 6-7 bars with different concepts that are 400 3P, following the values of our brand, and then a bigger facility to supply all these bars, plus the wholesale part.
If I may, I just had a quick question. There's a guy called Ray DeLuca. He has a little company called Subway. You might have heard of it.
Yeah.
It started out as an idea on paper. It really didn't and raise money for a lot of stores. You just franchised them.
Yeah.
So I heard you saying, hey, I want to expand and grow the business. You do realize that franchise is an option, right?
Yeah.
And it's probably the most cost-effective way. It's probably the most cost-effective way of expanding the business, and the upside is unlimited.
Yeah.
So I would humbly submit that you contemplate that.
No,
And obviously, where you take the business strategically is entirely at your discretion. But I would submit that considering franchising might be very, very viable, particularly in this stage.
It's something that we do have thought about to franchise, because it makes sense. And we have been different. Like, we got some friends in Argentina. They have a place called Temple, and they got 33 locations, and they franchise their locations, and they make a lot of beer, sell it to themselves in a way, and they control the whole thing. So we do like. I think our it's an idea that it's not that it's too far away of what we want of what might happen, because of the concept that we want to create. But we care a lot about the brand right now, being such a young company, that we are kind of, in that same of take the risk, a little bit afraid of just giving. So our idea is at least to open 2 or 3 by ourselves, and then see how it works. And if the model works, maybe that's a faster way to get.
For sure.
Well, no, it's going to be a faster way to open more.
Yeah, 500 stores, 1,000 stores beats
Exactly.
50 or,
Yeah.
or 70.
Yeah.
Any other question? One questions? Yes. No. Well, he's raised his hand first. Go ahead.
Hi, thank you for your invitation.
No.
I have a question about supply chain. At the beginning, where did you buy the ingredients for the beer, and was it hard to find the right supplier?
So in, for example, in Venezuela was hard. Was almost impossible to get high quality ingredients. Here, honestly, it's as easy as going kind of to Amazon and tell you what you want and you get it to your door. So the biggest issues we have here with supply chain, honestly, is transportation, is cost, is negotiation of price. The biggest problem that we have had since we opened, it was cans. So when COVID hit, all the restaurant closes. You got brewers like Corona, Heineken, that all the beer that they were putting in draft, now they are putting into cans and bottles. So the can manufacturers are not ready for that. And there was a shortage of cans. One thing that helped us is that we were doing 16 ounces cans, and that's not very common for the big brands to do. So our sector was little less affected, but we still got, the only way that we could get cans is by buying by container. So then we start buying, instead of 1-2 pallets of cans, we start buying containers that, for one, lower our cost, and for second, we were able to get the cans. After that, honestly, there is 2-3 big suppliers, BSG, Country Malt, and they have, whatever you can imagine, they have it to make beer, and then they will just send it in a truck to your door.
I think I have a question here. Yes.
I want to know how you deal with your customers. I mean, why would they buy your product and not buy Corona or anything else, something like that?
So we have,
What makes you special?
yeah. So we have 3 type of sales pitch in a way. We have our customer that goes to a bar. We have the distributor that we also got to sell him. Then we have the account that are buying our beer. And then finally will be again the customer that goes to the other bars. So in our case, what we did to differentiate, we do a lot of weird beers. And that was kind of like what put our name outside in the craft beer community. So our main beers, we got a lager, it's a Mexican lager, 6%. We got an IPA, Everhaze. Those are kind of common. We use high quality ingredients. We try to do the best we can to make the best product. For the sour for itself, then we start making weird stuff. So we do fruit sours. We add marshmallow to our sours. We add chocolate to our sours. We add vanilla. We add lactose. We add 10 different fruits. We make it bitter and sour, make it sour and sweet. So we start developing different flavors. And then one big thing that I think it differentiates us is our marketing and our labels. I don't think we have. So our brand is super colorful, and it have a bunch of animals that have red eyes. They are tired. So that was kind of, like everyone that see the brand is like, oh, fuck, I like this. Oh, this is entertainment. And I think between the marketing and the specialty beers that we're doing, the barrel-aged stouts, all those kind of things, we were going very hard forward. Like we will do smoothie beers, 6%, and they will taste like a juice, mango juice with passion fruit and guava. So that was kind of like what get us into the map in the craft beer community. And then little by little, it's about pitching the quality to and at the end, it's just, for us, it's just how we can put the beer to people to try it, and they make the decision.
I'm curious actually, especially the FDA, Food and Drugs Administration part, as you are doing some special for the kind of the consumers. So how did you complete your inspections or process, which is very easy for me that to be completed.
You are in manufactured food too, or? or no? Restaurant.
I'm just thinking.
Okay, so in our case, FDA, we just gotta be FDA registered, and there is a whole different thing between FDA registered and FDA approved. When you're registered, it's just tell your name, your social, and your address. When you are approved, I haven't done it, but I know that's when the problem comes. And that's in the case of FDA. For us, we need to have, the biggest thing in brewing manufacture is your federal permit. That is, again, who are you and pay taxes. Your state permit, who are you, pay taxes. And then the city, you get the zoning. And then we're regulated by the restaurant hospitality department. I think it's that one, if I'm not mistaken. Because you also have the agricultural department. You can go either way, either hotels and restaurants or agriculture. We went to the hotel and restaurants, and honestly, they look overall. What they care the most is about the restaurant and bar part. About the brewing part, they do annual checkups. We have inspections every 6-8 months, depending. And I think, honestly, they care more about the restrooms and everything, the bathrooms, the restaurant, the food part, the cold room, the storage of how we keep things. But it's nothing complicated.
I want to know, what was your marketing strategy at the beginning? Because you can have like a very good product, but if nobody knows your brand at the beginning, what channels did you use, or what was the process to get to people know your brand and buy your products?
So what we did is, as I mentioned, it took a year to find the space. Once we got the space, that's when I finally moved to Miami here, and then part of the partnership, and we started making the beer at the house. And literally those 2 years that we were building the brewery, we went to every craft beer festival, every craft beer bar, every craft beer restaurant. We will make beer, take it to places, do events, do parties, whatever we could do, just to, I didn't know there exists, but there's, in the beer community, there's something called the bottle shares. So everyone will bring bottles, and just from different breweries from around the world, and you have people that will bring, something easy and easy to drink, but then you got like barrel-aged sours, and, we got very into the craft beer niche, wild beers, stouts, and that community is the one that talks the more, in a way. So now we make friends with all these amazing people that honestly opened the door to us, that we didn't know anything. Like, that was one really nice thing about the craft beer community. Like, I will go to my competitor 6 blocks away, MIA Brewing Company, and ask him to do an event there. He will say yes. Ask him, hey, can you give me your architectural plans? And he will say yes. Can I just sit down with an hour? So this community is very group orientated, as long as you want to participate. If you don't want to participate, they are not going to be there. But for 2 years, we were hitting everything, every bar, and it is fun. It was fun, and we got drunk every day, and it was part of the job, and we had to do it in a way. And even right now, it's part of the business that now I get less drunk, but it's part of the business. We got our big festival coming up right now in April, and all the brewers are going to come, and we have to do something for them, and they expect us to go out and have fun, and we love it, honestly, because of the community. But that was our marketing campaign, at least for those 2 years. It was mostly about that. It was less digital. It was more about el boca a boca, to put our beer in the mouth of the people and to present to them and to see what is the market here.
Did you know from the beginning that this was the project that you wanted to do? Or while you were starting here, did you know that you wanted to have your own company? Did you have many other ideas that you tried and maybe you failed, or that was the first one that you tried and that's what you did, or how did you decide that this was the one that you were going to go for?
No, thankfully this was the one that I decided to. So when I started Brewing Venezuela, I love the business itself. So I love the making the beer, but then I love the business itself about the brewing. And when I came here just to do the project. And in the meantime, I also, I only had a bachelor. I didn't have too much experience. I wanted to get more education, and then I did my MBA at the same time that we were working already on the project. But yeah, thankfully, since the beginning, I knew this is what I wanted to do. Yeah, since today, I want to keep growing it, and I have fun doing it, and I want to, see how we can make it bigger.
If you have another
Yeah. So, first of all, congratulations, and thank you for sharing with us all of this. It's very nice to hear, and I feel very successful idea. I just wanted to ask, because I also wanted to tell the reviews were amazing. I just checked it out, which is good. And I wanted to ask, because I saw the location is Doral. You thought about that location before, and also when you opened the manufacturer, you were thinking also to open the bar inside, or that came after?
So you're talking about why the location in Doral, and then is the bar on the. So at the beginning, the location was 6-7 years ago. We wanted to go Wingwood. It was a cool song. Well, let's go there, and then you go $50-$60 square foot, and you say no, this doesn't make sense, because you're going to be paying $50-70 grand a month for rent, and it doesn't make on the business plan. It was nowhere there. Then we start checking other facilities, taking in consideration we need industrial zone, so we start looking, and we had issues like, for example, we were going to be in Little River. We found a spot that we really like. The rent was right on where we wanted. It was a little bit higher, but it was where we wanted. And there was a brewery 1,450 square feet away from us. By law, you cannot be Miami-Dade in that area specific. You need to be 1,500 feet away. So by 50 feet, we couldn't open that location. We went to the city, and the guy from the city, no, there's nothing you can do, or you can come, you can try to make it happen, you can send a letter. There is a process where you can do it, where you send a letter to every neighbor around, and they do this congress where they say yes or no, and if you have one guy that says no, you got to figure out with the guy. So we didn't want it to go through all that deal. And at the end, we find this place in Doral, and we start, there is a lot of Venezuelan in Doral, but what we like about Doral is that it had a high income, 60,000 people, one of the best cities to grow, and I think in these last 6 years, Doral have shown that it's a city that have a lot to give. And for the bar part, we always wanted to have the bar, because we feel it's an expression of the brand. It's an expression of what we do. It's a way that we can show. If I give you a can, it's one thing, but if you come to the bar and you do a fly, you try 5 different beers, you play pool, by watching the tanks, and it's a place where we do all of our events, all of our experience, and that's what we wanted. Even though it was a little bit harder to do it by itself, but that's what we wanted.
Are we going to have a discount as Atlantis student?
Yeah, you gotta show the.
Yeah, guys. So for the sake of time, because I know there's a lot of interesting questions, but we need to get going because he has his things to do, and you guys have things to do. So, but I wanted to also offer that if you have future questions, send it to me. I'll forward to him. And also, there is a podcast that which is a very good podcast. It's like a classroom. There's a class about how to run a business, and the things that we cover in the podcast will be available very soon. But as you can see, to be an entrepreneur is a lot of hard work, right? So a lot of people think that you just have this money-making machine and all of a sudden you're a millionaire. You see that in the movies, right? A lot of people with a big cigar, in a big boat in the Mediterranean. But that's in reality, it's not like this. You may be in a big boat, but you're in a conference call. So you're talking to, hey, what's going on in my stock market? But you're in a big boat. So there's a lot of hard work, associated with doing a business, etc. One thing I want to also mention is a lot of organizations, large organizations, are investing in the concept of intrapreneurship, which is the individual that works in a large company, IBM, GM, Mercedes, Audi, and you will you'll start your own business or business unit or division, like an intrapreneur, but the only difference that you within the organization. And interesting enough, the issues and challenges are very similar. We have to fight lots of things, and etc. Anyway, so first of all, Daniel, thanks a lot for your presence. I really appreciate you having put in the time to come here. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you. And I also want to thank everybody, Professor Mia, Professor Buchanan, Professor Thomas, all the Slavica, all the people that put some work to make this happen. So it's been a pleasure for me and for everybody to have you here. And we'll have future opportunities to come with Daniel back and other speakers as well, on Entrepreneur Podcast. Thanks very much, guys.